Hello, class. And this is day 2 of week 10. And there's 2 extended responses. So 2 paragraphs that you're going to be writing here to respond to these questions 11 and 12. And then there's the grammar on run-on sentences at the end. I will explain those, and that's going to be it for day 2. Okay, so here it is. It says extended responses. And then it says directions. It says write your answers to the extended response questions from the quick check quiz on this page. Here's a question that we need to respond to. And I am going to begin the answer by turning the question into a statement. But then it's going to be your job to find the evidence. You're gonna need to reread the book. What was it? Treasure in El Dorado. Reread your book to find evidence for your response. Okay, so the question is, do you think, it says, do you think there is treasure at the bottom of Lake Guaravira? Why or why not? So you're gonna need to reread, and then based on what you are reading, you're going to say if you think or you don't think that there is treasure at the bottom of Lake Guaravira. So you can begin your answer statement by saying I blank. And on the blank, you're either going to say I believe. If you think that there is treasure, you will say I believe that there is treasure. Or maybe you think that no, it's not possible that there's any treasure at the bottom of the lake. So if you don't think that it is possible that there is any treasure, then you will say I don't believe. Okay, so again, you only choose one of these two, depending on what you think, and then you put it on the blank. Okay, so I blank, I believe, or I don't believe that there is treasure at the bottom of Lake Guadavira. Okay, and the boys and girls, remember that you need at least 2 or 3 details from the text. So thank you for doing the hard work and finding those 2 or 3 details instead of just writing one sentence and then moving on. Okay, the next part would be why. So why do you think that there is treasure, or why do you think that there is not? So you could say, I think this because. And then you could say, because on page blank, it states blank. Okay, so go back to the text and then see what it says. Some clues that tell you that, yeah, it's possible that there could be some treasure, some gold, some riches found at the bottom of the lake. And then put a page number and then write what it says. And then at least another detail, you could say also, in the book I read, that blank. So okay, another detail that you read in the book that makes you think that there is treasure or not. And you can add more details by saying things that you know. It's kind of like when you make inferences, you make the inference and then you support it with evidence, what the text says, and then also what you know that makes you think that. Okay, and so that would be how you answer 11. And then here's number 12. It says It says, what role do the map and the guide play in furthering the plot of the story? The plot just means the storyline, the story, okay? That's the events in the story. When it says, what role do the map and the guide play? It's basically saying, how do the map and the guide help the story, okay? To make the story more detailed, or how is it helpful to the story, okay? So maybe I can rewrite this. What role do the map? Okay, so it's basically asking how do the map and the guide help? When it says in furthering the plot of the story, it's basically how do they help develop or tell the story, okay? So I'm going to put, how do the map and the guide help develop the story? Okay, so that's basically what this question means, okay? So why would the author put a picture of the map in there? Okay, how is looking at the map, how is it helpful for us as we are reading the story? It has to be helpful in some way, otherwise why would the author choose to include the map? Okay, so how is the map helping us? Let me go back to the map, and then we can begin the answer statement. Okay, so at the very beginning right here, we have a map. Okay, and then it's telling us, well, it is a map. So it is telling us the location of some places. I see Colombia, okay, and I remember Colombia being mentioned in the story. Here's Lake Guaravira, which is where Andre and the researchers are going, and that's where most of the story takes place. Okay, so here's Lake Guaravira, here's Colombia, and then you have Ecuador, Brazil, Venezuela. Here's the Pacific Ocean. So if you think about it, maybe some of you guys already know, but somewhere up here, like somewhere up here would be like Mexico. I think it's more to the left, but I can't fit it because that's the end of the screen. But somewhere up here would be Mexico, and then if you go up north more, that would be the USA. Okay, the United States, which is where we live. So here would be the United States, and then here's Mexico, and then if you keep on going south, then there's Colombia, and then there's Lake Guaravira, and then there's a star right here, and then I don't know if this is the lake right here. It's just, I'm assuming, I am inferring that that's just to mark where the lake is. Okay, and then when it says a guide, honestly, I don't know what guide it's talking about. I am thinking that it's probably talking about this section right here. Okay, where it says, on the brightest day with the shortest night, the full moon will rise in the keyhole of the crater. Wade into the waters as far as you can, farther still, and there you will find the treasure. Okay, so we looked at those, and then let's go back to the question. So how does looking at the map help you as you read the story? Okay, so we could say let me grab my pencil. Okay, so here we go, pencil. So we could say the map and the guide help us. Okay, so the map and the guide help us blank as we read the story. Okay, And then give me at least 2 or 3 more sentences here explaining why you think that the map and the guide help us in that way. So again, if you need to go back and look at the map and then see how I pointed out the different locations, uh, and then start thinking, how does that help me as I read the story? It's helping the story, but in reality, it's helping the reader comprehend better the story. I think that I gave out some answers right there. Okay, so and that's gonna be it. Answering those two questions. Thank you for being detailed in your answers. And then I am skipping some of these pages that you don't have. I took them out. Okay. But I am trying to get to the grammar part of this. Okay, so the grammar is about run-on sentences. And we learned this in class. Run-on sentences are sentences that have more than one subject, more than one predicate. So in essence, it is like 2 complete sentences or more than one complete sentence, and it's all together in there without no punctuation in the middle. For example, and that's basically what all of this says, okay? It's explaining what run-on sentences are and how to fix them. We have an example right here. It says, the birds, right here, the birds flew east, the deer ran south. Okay, I can clearly see that there's 2 subjects in here. One of the subjects says the birds, and then the other subject is the deer. And so remember how we said in class that if we have a sentence like this that has 2 subjects, and there has to be some punctuation in the middle. It needs to have either a period or a comma and a coordinating conjunction, okay, so that we can make it into a compound sentence. Okay, and then so here's how to correct that one sentence, okay? The birds flew east, here's the comma, and that would be my coordinating conjunction. So the birds flew east and the deer ran south, and then of course the period at the end. Okay, so that's one way to correct run-on sentences. Sentences that go on and on and on and on with no punctuation. You can make them into compound sentences by putting a comma and a coordinating conjunction, okay? And the coordinating conjunction has to make sense. The coordinating conjunctions are for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. Remember those? I had them on the board, on a chart. So you read the sentence and then you select the coordinating conjunction that makes more sense, okay, to go in the sentence. So here's your task. It says rewrite each run-on sentence below, adding coordinating conjunctions and commas in the correct places. For example, I have number 1 here. It says Bob played the guitar and Susie played the piano. So again, I have Bob and Susie, 2 subjects, okay? And so that means that there needs to be punctuation in the middle. Okay, so Bob played the guitar. That would be the first sentence, comma, and then after the comma, I need a coordinating conjunction. Now I look at the list of coordinating conjunctions and I select the one that makes more sense. And I believe in this case it would be and. So Bob played the guitar and Susie played the piano. Some people would argue that the word but also makes sense. Bob played the guitar, but Susie played the piano. That could work too. Okay? And then you have to rewrite the sentence. So right here, Bob played the guitar, comma, coordinating conjunction, and Susie played the piano. And don't forget your period at the end. And that's it. So I guess the main thing is identify where the first complete sentence is, and then select the correct coordinating conjunction. Okay, and don't forget the comma before the conjunction. and the period at the end. Okay, and that's it for day 2.